Bobby, how does this all work?
So it's great. El Salvador is the first country in the world to make Bitcoin legal tender. So technically what that means is all businesses, it's real, acts as real money. So people can buy things even in McDonald's with Bitcoin. So this is a really bold first move for a Central American country.
What do you think happens now, though? I mean, there's a massive step or a massive difference between, someone or some institutional investor adopting or buying cryptocurrency for their own account to a country that is looking to make it legal tender. In what ways do you think we've learned from this? I know it's early days, and do you think this slows down that process if there are other prospective countries looking to do the same?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a challenge. Being the first mover, there are challenges. A lot of merchants are still trying to come up to speed in how to accept Bitcoin, how to take Bitcoin in. You need a digital wallet. And of course, many consumers don't yet own Bitcoin. My understanding is the government has issued a government-sponsored wallet allowing people to hold their digital currencies. So I think countries will follow in the coming years. And what El Salvador does, people will learn from that, and the whole industry will benefit from their first move advantage.
And if they consulted with you, Bobby, what do these countries then need to do to ensure that the process is as widely adopted and as smooth as possible? Let's put it that way.
So several things. One is you have to get the people to understand that Bitcoin can also act as a store of value, as a savings, right? I think one of the big benefits is for people like myself in the industry who've invested in Bitcoin for 3 years or 5 years or more. We've seen Bitcoin appreciate dramatically in the last few years. And if the people of El Salvador do the same when they hold Bitcoin, when they receive Bitcoin as payment, if they hold it for a few years, I think they can also benefit from the increase in price and the value of it as a savings and store of value. In some ways, it's the ultimate hard currency. If you look at El Salvador, the reason why they use the US dollar as the other main legal tender is because the native currency years ago has collapsed. So many of these developing countries don't have a strong, stable native currency.
It's actually quite odd that a lot of developing countries are very keen on cryptocurrencies. Is there a reason why, in your view?
Well, it's because for a country, obviously, what we call fiat currencies are issued by state central banks. And if the economy is only so and so, developing countries, it's very hard for them to maintain a strong and stable currency. We have examples like Zimbabwe, which has seen hyperinflation, many, many years. And some countries end up giving up and they just borrow and use another nation's currency, like El Salvador. Even Hong Kong, for example, the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to a basket of foreign currencies, right? So it's very normal for the non-leading economies of the world to use a currency that's either directly pegged to other foreign currencies or to directly use a foreign currency themselves. So Bitcoin is seen as a very hard currency, which happens to be cryptocurrency. I think that's why.
Now, Bobby, you say that if you see a cryptocurrency doubling within 24 hours, then you've hit the peak. But you also say that with Bitcoin, we've had 3 sort of cycles of it, and you say that we need at least 10 before you can start calling a top here. Tell us your thinking, and that takes us to about $300,000 for a Bitcoin.
Yeah, long-term wise, I'm very bullish. I think what gives Bitcoin value is the scarcity and the fact that there's a lot of freedom in people using it. So it's not regulated and controlled by any entity, unlike the US dollar, which a banking system, the Federal Reserve, and the US entity can impose sanctions on people and on businesses. So the US dollar is constricted and restricted and lots of control. So I think the value of Bitcoin is that it's a really liberating sort of currency for the people. And that's what's given it legs over the last 12 years of its existence. And I think in the next 12 years, we'll continue to see Bitcoin get adopted more. It just recently reached $1 trillion in market value. Give it another, 5, 10, 15 years, that can easily go up another 10 times or even 100 times. So time will see. And it also depends on how much money printing happens in the US dollar world. So, yeah.
That's true. With negative rates, people are looking elsewhere. Within the crypto space, recently people have talked about Ether as perhaps one that has given you a little bit more momentum than Bitcoin. How would you describe the fundamental differences? And if you had to describe the fundamentals of each one, which one do you think at this point in time looks a little bit more robust?
So I think they're very different. I think Ethereum is as people know, is a smart contract platform. It's a sort of a computing platform on the internet. Enables a lot of other crypto tokens and NFTs. Whereas Bitcoin, the design goal was to be a stable form of money, much like digital gold. So Ethereum, so I think they're very different beasts. It's kind of comparing the US dollar with petroleum. The petrodollar, they say it's tied together and so on.
Right.
But the reality is the different kinds of commodities in the world. And I think going forward, we'll see Bitcoin succeed. And that's not at the sort of advantage of Ethereum succeeding. I think both can succeed on their own. And there will be many other current cryptocurrencies that come up as well.
Bobby?
So, yeah.